Going back to who, you were mentioning some of the younger women that are walking into the store. I wonder about them. Like, who are they? Like, are they still coming from the same place of I don't want to be a victim or I have been a victim, but or are you seeing a change? Are you seeing like a change in that population in terms of what they're looking for, why they're looking for it? Is it different?
I would say that it different or same. I don't, all I know is that the women that typically come into the store are, they know our society is in a bit of decay, and they understand that, that there is danger out there, and they just want to know what their options are. And they're all starting to realize that pepper spray is not going to help. Right. And,
but that's what they've been getting told their whole life.
Yeah. And they also realize that trying to shoot someone in the knee is not necessarily the right way to go either. So, they're mostly
more aware.
Yeah. They're waking up, and they want to know what their options are. And they don't want somebody to be telling them, you have to do this, you have to do that. Because if you're going to talk to a mom and you're going to say, you have to choose between feeding your child or buying this gun, she's going to choose her child every time. Yeah. And that's, I have to say, oftentimes I take these training classes, and I'm the only female in the class, and I get bombarded by these guys that are saying the most outlandish things.
Like?
Well, like one guy said, we were going around the room and saying who we were and what our qualifications were, and, just a little bit about ourselves. And so I always like to throw in there that I'm a mom of 6 children, and this is why I'm where I am.
You're a mom first.
Yeah, because I am a mom first. Even though my children are all out on their own, I'm still their mother. If they call me, I go to them, right? And so, and my grandchildren too. I have 2 grandchildren that I will drop the earth for, right? And this one guy, the subject of calibers came up. And this guy was literally standing over me, reading me the riot act about how is he putting it? He was going, well, I love my family so much that I wouldn't let them shoot anything less than a .40 caliber.
Oh, good Lord.
And I'm like going, oh my
Sounds like the internet.
Yeah. It's like, please stop. Like, oh my gosh. And so at first I was like trying to explain to him, because I do come to the table with a can-do attitude. I want to help educate people. I want them to understand what was going to help a woman. Higher calibers is not going to help her. Louder bangs, and seriously, .40 caliber. Come on. I mean, all the ballistic testing out there, just please stop. You're looking like an idiot, okay?
Oh, he is.
But
you are.
I know. But so anyway, the thing is 9mm is really nice. And really, if you're too afraid to do anything, let's start you on a 22.
Right.
It's like, what child?
Pathways.
Yeah. See, and it's like I say to men a lot. When I say, it's okay to start on a 22. It's okay. I mean, you started on a 22 when you were a kid, right? Yep. Oh yeah, I did. Well, think of her as a kid. If you were teaching her a foreign language, you wouldn't be teaching her how to conjugate verbs.
We wouldn't go straight into the immersive
language. Yeah, you'd start with baby talk, right? So let's start her on baby talk, okay? Let's start her with a 22. Get some fun. Show her how fun this can be. And then let's step it up to a 9mm.
I think that transcends so many things in life, right?
Yeah.
Beyond firearms.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you say that. I think one of the things that comes to mind here is I think what you're talking about is a deep level of unconscious incompetence there.
Yes.
And I think women are way more comfortable in that than men are.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it goes straight to the ego piece.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, my granddaddy used to take me out on and this is how we learn, and this is how it is, and this is the way kind of thing, versus the understanding that there could be many ways, and I want to know everything I possibly can. There's a much different, that men and women are much different that way. Again, unconscious incompetence and that being that being an ego kicker for a man to say something like that. And again, it's just one more example of why the barriers of entry exist, and it's dudes a lot of times doing this, which is ridiculous. And it's almost always going to be dudes like that. right?
Yeah.
That
and unfortunately, they're trainers out there, and they've got business cards, and and they have their place. They really do. They have their place teaching CCW classes and stuff like that. Incidentally, I did a women's intro to firearms class through Girl and a Gun for 6 women last summer. And I'm talking about this particular class because one of the women in that class was a victim of domestic violence. Her significant other actually held her down and held a gun to her head. And she was extremely victimized by that. She wanted to get over it. Okay. Another woman, her first intro to handguns was a boyfriend taking her out to some remote range and putting a 44 Magnum in her hand.
Jesus.
Right. And then two of the other gals had some other issue. They were all like, women with real issues, right?
People are dumb.
Yeah. And so and incidentally, this revolver that this guy put in her hand, flipped out of her hand and bonked her in the noggin.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Weird.
So so she was very afraid. So as I'm talking to all these ladies, I switch gears and decide that I'm just going to have them shoot 22s. I just so happen to have enough 22s in various shapes and sizes. Right. And so I took them through the class. I had them load and unload using dummy rounds. And one of the domestic violence woman was literally loading and unloading with tears running down her face, hands shaking. And I'd go, just pull the trigger. It's okay. It's it's got a dummy round in there, so you can pull that trigger. And the first couple times she pulled the trigger, she was scared to death, even though it was a dummy round in there. Mm-hmm. By the end of the evening, they were all high-fiving each other, right, wiping tears off of each other. Right. None of these women even knew each other beforehand. And this is a classic example of women that did come to the table victimized, right? And learned to get over it. Now, I've stayed in touch with all of them. Some of them joined my Girl and a Gun club. The gal that was a victim of domestic violence is not yet, although I still contact her, seeing if she's ready to start shooting a 9mm, but she is walking through life now a lot more confident than she was before. And that's what I want to bring to the table. And I know that's what a Girl and a Gun does for so many women.
Yeah.
Right?
And I love what you're saying there about paving the way.
Yeah.
Because again, it may look a very certain way right now, but it's evolving.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's what I'm getting that's what I'm getting from you, or I've gotten from you, but also obviously from Robin and some of the other folks I've talked to. Just the growth of this thing is it's and the fact that it isn't more well known is I think I probably understand some of the reasons why, and it's a lot of what you're saying because it's just not a popular, sexy conversation to have.